Hello and welcome to the Karpfucius Says Podcast, the show where we talk about anything and everything related to living a more purposeful and empowered life. I am your host, Michael Karp, aka Karpfucius. Alright, welcome to episode number 10 of the Karpfucius Says Podcast. In the last episode, we talked about the two most important things we can do to achieve our goals and dreams. These are the two things that literally every person who has ever succeeded at anything in life has done. So they're super simple, and they're incredibly important to understand when it comes to achieving your goals, your dreams, or fulfilling any of your desires. So if you haven't seen that episode, go ahead and check it out. And today we are talking about the simplest secret to finding and living your life's purpose. So as human beings, sometimes we have this tendency to overcomplicate things and to make things more difficult than they really should be. And part of my own purpose, part of my own drive, motivation, desire is to help people gain clarity, is to help people figure out what they really want to do with their lives, to help people find their own life purposes, and to live more purposefully, more meaningfully, be more fulfilled in their daily lives. So I've been on this journey for 8 years, right? And I've really dove into it. Like, I put in a lot of inner work to figure this stuff out. There really wasn't much available that was, like, in terms of information, there really wasn't much information that was complete, right? That says, okay, just do this and you will figure this stuff out. Just follow this step-by-step process and you will figure out what you really want to do with your life. So the process for me was very much trial and error. It was taking bits and pieces from all over. It was searching within myself over and over and over again and making like wrong turns, right turns, wrong turns, right turns, and like constantly bouncing back and forth to try and figure out what I'm really meant to do with my life and actually get super clear on it. And it took me 8 years. It really took me from 2014 when I graduated college all the way until the beginning of 2022 to get like so clear on who I was and what I really wanted and what I was born to do that I actually started living it. I actually started doing it, because I had a few years where I kind of had an idea, but it wasn't clear enough, and there wasn't enough energy there for me to actually start living my own purpose. Now that I'm on the other side of that journey, and I know it without a shadow of a doubt, looking back, I'm like, okay, how can we simplify this? How can I simplify it for other people so that they can figure out what they really want to do with their lives and what will bring them the most fulfillment in the simplest, most efficient way possible? And one of those ways is what I'm about to share with you right now. So, the simplest secret to finding and living your life's purpose is to ask yourself a question. And the question is, who do I want to help? Who do I want to help? Right? If I could help anybody in the world, who would they be and how would I help them? The reason being is that our purpose usually lies in some sort of service to others. Some sort of benefit or value or like something that you're giving to someone else or some way in which you are helping someone with anything. Like, this doesn't have to be like, I think immediately people probably start thinking about like charity work, right? But this doesn't, like, a comedian helps people, right? An actor or an actress help people, right? A bus driver helps people, you know, like in some way, shape or form, people are usually helping other people with what they do. And the question is, how do you really want to help people? How do you really want to be of service to others? How do you really want to make an impact on others? Or how do you want to help people get something that they want? How do you want to help improve other people's lives? And how do you maybe want to guide people, entertain people, educate people, help people be more healthy, help people grow? Like, how would you like to make a difference in someone's life? And don't think about size when it comes to this. Don't think, okay, well, I'd like to help people in this way, but it doesn't seem big enough, right? If that's how you want to help people, then help people in that way. Or, I'd like to help people in this way, but I don't know if I can do that. Like, it seems too big, right? If that's the way you want to help people, honor that, right? Like, develop yourself into someone who can help people in that way, right? So for me, I've always wanted to help people, you know? And the way in which I wanted to do it, like, I always had an idea, but I always had an idea that I wanted to create, right? I wanted to create content. I wanted to write books. I wanted to create courses. I wanted to speak. I wanted to, like, help people, like, literally in this way that I'm doing right now, right? But for me, it was so big for me that I needed to actually develop myself more to get to a place where I could really take action on it and, like, really own it and really be who I am today. So, like, I knew I wanted to help people through content, through, like, creating stuff, through, like, books and all these things. But then it was like, okay, how? Like, what do I want to help them with? What do I want to help them accomplish? And that took a lot more introspection, because I needed to look over my own life and say, okay, what have I done, right? And how can I help people? So I literally brainstormed. I put a note in my phone and I said, what could I create that could help other people? And I said, books, courses, articles, videos, etc., right? Okay, like what books? And I was like, okay, I could create workbooks. I could create workbooks with exercises that could help people accomplish certain things. And then I brainstormed that and I said, okay, I could create a confidence workbook. I could create a life purpose workbook. And I brainstormed like 8 workbooks that I could create for other people. And then went over that list and I just felt, which one do I feel most drawn to? Which one is really calling out to me? And the one that called out to me was life purpose. I was like, oh, okay. And I'd already coached some people on how to find their life purpose. Like a few years prior, I'd already coached people on how to find their passion. So I already had some materials available in my Google Drive, right? And I literally took those, turned them into a workbook, and then I expanded on it, and I added a bunch of other stuff that I'd learned since, and I wrote stories in there and basically created what I would have wanted like 5 to 8 years prior. And that's how it began, right? Like, I just started with what I had and I looked inside. I said, how do I want to help people? And who do I want to help, right? Like, I want to help people who are feeling lost. I want to help people who are feeling directionless and want to figure out what they really want to do with their lives. Like, they're not satisfied with the path that they're on, let's say. And most likely they're on a path that society had dictated for them rather than their own heart and their own soul and what they really want from within themselves. And I will help them uncover that. I will help them bring that inner wisdom and that inner guidance up to the surface so that they can then follow that and at least have a chance to do what they really want to do with their lives instead of doing what they don't really want to do. And so that's what I would suggest. Like, if you're struggling to figure out what you want and you're like, oh, I could do this, I could do that, and maybe you're saying, oh, I could do this, but maybe there isn't that much money in it, or I'm doing this right now and I'm kind of like comfortable financially, but like this isn't really what I want, but to do something different would kind of disrupt my whole life and yada, yada, yada. Stop looking at it from the perspective of like it's going to sound a bit paradoxical, but stop looking at it from the perspective of just you and start looking at it from the perspective of others, right? Like, how could I help other people? How could I be of service? Like, who do I want to help? If I could help anyone in the world, who would I help and how would I help them? Right? Because that is where a lot of our fulfillment lies in providing value to people in some way, shape, or form, right? And to give you some examples to help you think outside the box, or to help you understand that maybe a desire you already have is a service to others, but you haven't really thought of it in this way. For example, someone who really wants to become a parent and they really just want to, be there for their kids, guide their kids through their growth. That is helping someone else, right? That is being of service to someone else, right? Or let's say you are let's say you're really good at woodworking, right? And you're like, okay, I want to teach people woodworking on YouTube. Like, that is being of service to other people. You are serving people who want to get good with woodworking. And maybe for them, it's very therapeutic. Maybe for them, it's a confidence builder, because if they get good at this, it's something that other people can admire them for, right? And you're there on YouTube teaching them how to make chairs, and that's really making a positive impact on their life, right? So you don't have to look at it as like, oh, what I want isn't big enough, or it's not helping people enough. Sometimes we do not understand the massive impact of simple things, or things that seem simple on the surface, like how woodworking can be therapy for someone. Like, woodworking can help someone overcome emotional trauma, right? And the person's there on YouTube saying, hey, okay, cut the wood this way, paint it this way, nail it this way. But that is like some of the best therapy that the viewer or the student can have, right? And another example is like gaming, right? So there's a whole massive online gaming culture and online gaming community. And there's a website called Twitch where people can live stream their themselves playing video games, right? And on the surface, it's like, okay, cool. People are watching other people play video games. Like, interesting, right? But if you look deeper, it's a service to those viewers, because some of those viewers are very lonely. Some of those viewers are socially awkward. Some of those viewers maybe don't have that many friends, or maybe they're like stuck in a school system that isn't really made for them, or they're stuck in a work environment that isn't really made for them, and they're just not that happy. But when they go on and watch a stream and they feel a sense of connection, right? They feel a sense of connection with the other people who are viewing this person. They can live vicariously through the person who's playing the video game and having fun, or sometimes they're not even having fun. But either way, they're being entertained or they're being educated because it's helping them get better at the video game. Like, I watched live streams during COVID, and I was going through my own healing journey with my body, and it gave me a break. It gave me a break from this immense challenge that I was facing and allowed me to escape for a little bit. And it was very nice. It was very nice. It was very therapeutic. And there was a video game that I really wanted to play, but because of the state of the healing I was experiencing at that time, I couldn't really play it that much. But I could at least watch someone else play it, right? And that gave me, that provided a lot of value to me at that stage in my life. So there are things that we may take for granted. There are things that we are good at or naturally good at that could really, really help other people, but we don't sometimes see it in that way. Sometimes we don't look deep enough at these things that may only like on the surface not look like they could really be that valuable. But if you look deeper, they are massively, massively valuable, right? The bus driver who smiles at their passengers whenever they get on the bus, that's a massive service to those people. Like when you really look at it, there are a lot of things that can be very purposeful and very meaningful if we have that perspective and we start to open our eyes and open our minds to the possibilities of what could be purposeful and meaningful for us and who we could help and how we could help those people, right? I'll give you one more example. So I started my Instagram account in 2017, and I just started posting my thoughts. I started posting my perspectives on life. I started posting things that I thought could empower others, empowering mindsets, and telling a little bit of my story, the challenges I faced, how I've overcome them, and things of that nature, right? But I had no idea the true impact of that. Like, at that time, I was still learning how to balance my ego. At the time, I was still not that comfortable with being this type of person. I was still doing it, right? Because I decided to make a start. But I didn't really realize what I was doing. I didn't realize the full impact of what I was doing. Until 2019, I'm living in Vietnam. I'd been posting very consistently, and I was posting not just images, but I was posting videos, and I was getting more and more connected to my heart, right? And one day I got a message from this girl, and she said, "I don't know how I found your account, but I was thinking about taking my own life 3 days ago. But I found your videos and they inspired me, and I've decided not to do it." And I read this. It was at like 10 a.m. in the morning, and I was just, almost in shock. I was like, what? My videos? Like, I went back and I looked at my videos, so I was like, what? Like, these videos inspired her not to take her own life. And it just made me realize, I have not been honoring what I'm doing nearly enough. I've not been honoring the impact of me expressing myself and doing what I love and doing what I'm inspired to do nearly enough, right? And that invisible impact, the invisible impact that maybe someone's impacted by what you do and you never find out about it. but that impact still happened. Like, you still helped that person and made a difference in their lives. And if we understand that invisible impact, and if we understand that if we just do what we are inspired to do and what we really, really want to do, most likely it's going to be a massive service to other people. And that can bring us a lot of fulfillment, a lot of joy, and a lot of happiness over the long term. And it can be a really amazing experience for us, and man, even a better experience for the people we are helping with, just by living our lives. So, that is the message I'm leaving with you today. The simplest secret to finding and living your life's purpose is to figure out and ask yourself, if I could help anyone in the world, who would I help? And how would I help them? And remember, the impact of what we do is usually much, much, much deeper than what we are aware of or than what we realize. All right. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode. Peace. By the way, are you trying to find your life purpose? Well, do I have the book for you? It's called The Purpose Discovery System. The Purpose Discovery System is a 100-page ebook teaching you how to find your life purpose, define it with clarity, and make a plan to follow it, even if you are totally lost right now and have no clue what to do with your life. This book walks you through the exact same process I used to find my life purpose. And now it's available to help you find yours. If you're interested, you can check out the book by clicking the link in the show notes or in the podcast description. Your purpose awaits.